are these people?
I went to another different independent source that I normally don't go to in this one. An interesting situation where I found, Reason Magazine is Cato Institute, libertarian chud, capitalist. Robbie Suave, I believe his parents owned or founded, or they're involved somehow with that. The guy from The Hill Rising. But once in a while, they do stuff on civil liberties law that I think is interesting. And this was a crazy story. Again, I didn't hear anyone else report on this. And once in a while, they do pull a story from an angle that I don't really see anyone else telling it. So in this case, because it kind of fits in with ICE and police abuse and all the other shit that we've been talking about, I thought this one made sense to bring for the lightning round. We're not going to read the whole story, but I'm going to link it because it is somewhat long. What the title says is that he died of thirst in solitary confinement, and now his family is suing for answers. All right. Lamont Mealy was found dead in a Maryland prison cell. Officials called it natural causes, but his family's lawsuit says that guards intentionally shut off his water. Again, could you imagine dying of thirst in the United fucking States? That's murder. That is straight fucking murder. And nothing is going to happen to the people that did it because they're calling it natural cause. How the hell is dying of thirst a natural cause? They're suing the state. So please read this one over at Reason Magazine, written by Jacob Swartz. One of the other articles that I brought, is at OpenSecrets. They have been kind of captured a little bit. They used to be a lot better. Once in a while, they do put out a really good article. This one is just confirmation of everything we've been talking about, which is that data centers, follow the money, are now fueling the lobbying industry, not just the growth of AI. So they took the template from the crypto industry and realized that if there's a lot of money pouring into your sector, your business, your industry, and government has not regulated it yet and still needs to, it may behoove you to buy off those government lawmakers, and they work relatively cheap. You don't really need to pay a lot as a business or as an industry in the grand scheme to get billions in legislation that works in your favor. So, again, from the farmlands of Northern Virginia to the industrial parks of New Jersey, very close to home with Angel and I, massive new data centers are popping up across the country to power America's artificial intelligence revolution, the one that nobody asked for. The energy needed to power these data centers is driving national energy usage to record levels, and those costs are falling on American households as soaring electricity consumption has translated into higher home utility bills, as well as health and environmental risks. Why the companies that are using the AI and using these resources aren't the ones that are having to spend the money to use the power? I don't understand. How is it being transferred to all of us? Well, every time we do a ChatGPT search, that uses X amount of water. And ChatGPT, OpenAI isn't paying that. It's getting drained on the community. Okay, but here we've got, with the advent of modern cloud computing and AI, the U.S. energy system is undergoing changes not seen since post-World War II electrification. We need a new grid. Modern data centers have facilitated the global explosion of AI, housing massive networks of servers and cooling systems that keep everything from entertainment, communication, to business operations running daily. Running these cloud centers has a cost. Yes. All right. The electric manufacturing and equipment sector, including firms like Microsoft and Oracle, has poured more than $226 billion into lobbying activity this year. That's a lot of fucking money. That's more money than the crypto industry used to buy off Trump. All right. The Fair Shake PAC spent, I believe, is about $117 million on the 2024 election. Additionally, 53% of lobbyists for the electric manufacturing sector have gone through the revolving door, meaning that they're former government officials and employees who've taken jobs with lobbying firms and private sector organizations that in some cases they used to oversee. Just dirty as all dirty can get. All right. The Data Center Coalition spent $123,000 on lobbying during the first quarter, $125,000 in the second quarter, and then more than doubled those numbers, spending $360,000 in the third quarter. $1 million of lobbying, not even. All right. To them, that's a drop in the bucket. But it gets the congressperson of their choice elected, and it buys them favor with all of the lawmakers on both sides that need that funding. So check out that OpenSecrets article. Finally, I brought another Indie Media Award honoree, Dave DeCamp from Antiwar. Don't forget about Venezuela. All right, because I think a lot of people are still sleeping on Venezuela. We've been bombing boats. Congress, this is the crazy thing. And I'm like, did Congress just literally abdicate war powers? Congress, the Senate, votes down a resolution to block Trump from starting a war with Venezuela? Wait, so are they then giving him permission? Well, not exactly. They're just not blocking him. The Senate Thursday rejected a resolution to stop Trump from launching an attack on Venezuela without authorization from Congress. Last I checked, that was the fucking law. I mean, technically, he can launch something, go to them, and then within 48 hours get their permission or whatever it is after the fact. But really, that shouldn't even be happening. The resolution, led by Senators Tim Kaine, Rand Paul, and Adam Schiff, so it's bipartisan, failed to pass the chamber by a vote of 49 to 51, with just two Republicans, all right, Rand Paul and Lisa Murkowski, supporting the bill. And this is, again, the Republican version of the parliamentarian, where they allow one or two of their rank to break ranks, even though they know it's not going to make a difference in the long run. They let them throw them one, you know. We see the squad do this often, where they don't necessarily all vote together. Ahead of the vote, Trump administration officials were telling lawmakers that they currently didn't have plans to bomb Venezuela, part of a strategy to discourage Republicans from stopping the war powers resolution. According to CNN, during the briefings, Trump officials still didn't rule out potential future military action. So we don't necessarily have plans right now, but we might in the future, and we might like that ability, and we certainly don't want you to vote our ability to do that and take that away, sirs. What? The Trump officials also said that they currently lacked a legal justification to launch strikes on land in Venezuela. But a U.S. official told CNN that the admin is seeking one from the Justice Department and doesn't plan to ask Congress for authorization. Again, a clear violation of the Constitution, which requires congressional approval for the executive to launch a war. He doesn't give a fuck, and nobody's going to stop him. Trump has sent mixed messages on the potential for a war with Venezuela. You mean an unprovoked attack on Venezuela? And according to the Wall Street Journal, he's expressed reservations over the idea of launching strikes on the country. He should. But the massive U.S. military buildup in the Caribbean continues as a U.S. aircraft carrier and its strike group are on their way to the region. We reported on that 2 weeks ago. And the administration has continued its illegal bombing campaign against alleged drug-running boats without any evidence presented whatsoever. The New York Times reported Tuesday that Trump is considering potential major escalations that could lead to a full-blown war with Venezuela. They include bombing military targets inside the country, sending special ops forces to kill or capture Maduro, or sending a much larger force to capture airfields and oil infrastructure. Right? That's right, Topher. It's an unprovoked attack on fucking fishermen. That's absolutely correct. With no evidence, no receipts other than trust us, bro. So, fuck the Trump administration for that. As well as for the data center stuff that they're pushing, because they're certainly being bought off for that. And for this police abuse, which is happening under his watch too. So this is more horrifying domestic shit that's happening and international stuff that's happening thanks to Trump. And not just Trump, but Trump, remember, is a symptom. He's not the one running all of this. You've got Bannon, you've got the donor class, you've got the Adelsons that are making sure everything runs in Israel and Iran and Lebanon and all the other stuff. This is a global network, okay? C.J. Hopkins often referred to it as global cap because it's global capitalism. It's all the forces working together. Dissent in Bloom. Even if they had evidence, extrajudicial killings are bullshit. They can't be judge, jury, and executioner. It's not like they couldn't arrest them. And the ones that they didn't kill, that they did arrest, they let them go without charges. Sorry, we blew up your boat, bro. Looks like you're not really guilty. You're free to go. Yeah, thanks. What? Yeah. That death penalty is not the punishment for drug trafficking, alleged drug trafficking. Again, they haven't even been caught. All right, they've just been suspected. No evidence has been presented. Dabby Dabs, how are you? Desert Mantis, Little Narco said that they were fishing without a license, so that's a reason to blow them out of the fucking water, right? To support independent media, and the way to do so is to join that wall of fame. Cash App, $ Indie News Network. We got a new member joining tonight. o-fi.com/Indie News Network. You got paypal.me/Indie News Network. We're live over at IndieNewsNow.com. It's the name of the show, Indie News Now Live. IndieMediaToday.com. We're also live over there on Substack. Thank you so much for seeing. Good to see you there. And at INNNewsletter.com. And yes, Obama did owe extrajudicial killings to KYE. He set up everything that Trump is doing, and he did it with legitimacy on top of it. Good to see Jason Nights on the Storm. Go check that show out for sure. But again, I wanted to get to really quickly. Oh, right. There was one other thing. The church thing. Holy crap. I saw this tweet the other day and I started looking into it. There's a lady on TikTok calling churches saying she needs help buying formula for her baby just to see if they'll actually help their communities. She's called at this point, she had called more than 20 places. And so far, only a mosque and a tiny little church in Appalachia had offered to help. So I actually brought a little bit of this story. I continued into the comments, and somebody actually linked the video because nobody had seemed to link it back to the source. We'll play that in a second. All right. And then there are a couple of her own TikToks. So I did go to this woman's TikTok, Nicolée, right? So here's her actually calling one of the churches.
Please press 1 for the church office. Press 2 for the daycare. Thank you.
They're like a minute or two. It's got the sound of a crying baby.
This is Mandy.
Hi. I was calling to see if y'all by chance had any like baby formula.
We do not. We don't keep anything like that on hand. You might could call DHR. Sometimes they have access to stuff like that they might could give you.
Yeah, I already tried there.
They don't have any either?
No. Yeah, I've tried like everywhere. Everybody's telling me to call churches for help.
Are y'all on WIC?
Yeah, I've already tried to get on WIC and I can't get approved, so I'm just trying to see if there's any way like you all could just supply like a small can of baby formula.
Yeah, we don't have the means for that.
So I'm calling your church to test to see if they'd feed a starving baby. And right now I'm calling West End Baptist Church.
We don't have the means for that. So that was 9 yeses and 32 no's. All right. So now this happened afterwards. Let's refresh this and I'll unmute it because the one church that did say yes.
I ran across this post and this is the grandpa that was like, oh, what flavor do you need? So I don't know. Like, I did not expect this social experiment to go viral at all. I literally had 300 followers, y'all. Like, I did not expect this at all. And neither did the people that said yes. Like, they did not know all of this was going to happen. And they didn't know that they were going to go viral either. And they were going to get all this attention either. So, like, it's crazy for me. I can't imagine how crazy it is for them, you know, like, and life-changing it is for them. Like, I'm just so happy for everybody that said yes and all the blessings that they're getting and all the love and support that they're getting because they deserve it. And I just want to share that. Okay, so I know it's late, but
that little Appalachian church got $75,000 in donations over a week for saying that they would, without even questioning, would send the baby formula. So it was both a heartwarming story as well as a depressing story. And somebody else had said that they were up to over 35. There were over 40 of them now. All right. Right. So she found the true teaching of Quran and Islam. Some of the comments are just horrifying. Some of them are great. I'm not going to go through those, but I just thought it was a really interesting story of this woman trying to see, especially with everything shut down right now, how much our church is actually helping someone that calls desperate and in need of help right now. So that was something to see. We're gonna do this every Tuesday night now at 10 p.m. Eastern. We're just shifting. So for those who weren't here earlier, like Vicky, and it's in the description, but How Do We Miss That is evolving. You know, I took a look around at the landscape and I said, you know, as a show name, it's been around for 4 years. We never really named the show. It kind of evolved into its own name, but I never actively decided that this is what I want to call it. But because we're using articles from IndieNewsNow, I think it makes a lot of sense to brand IndieNewsNow and link the website into the show name. So it's called IndieNewsNow Live. And I've been wanting to do a show kind of by myself, a news show. So that's what we're going to do. And we're going to see how this goes. Again, Thursday nights, you're going to see a mix of shows. You're going to see a combination of either INN one-on-one. You're going to see Indie's Tech Tips, which I'm going to do shows of, and we're going to talk about the tools. We're going to do some more Nobody Wants to Work Anymore, and there might even be one on Thursday with me and Himbo. And, of course, American Tradition, which will be the last Thursday of every month. We've kind of tried to set on that as a schedule. So thank you, everybody, again, for supporting this move. Tell everyone about Indie News Now and about Indie News Now Live. I really think that it might help give us a little bit of a boost because we certainly could use one. The algorithm doesn't love us. Boats, by the way, will be moving to 11 p.m. on Sunday nights. So we are still going to do boats. It's going to happen on Sunday night. And the last Sunday of every month will still be in uncensored boats. But the truth is that I can't continue to stay up as late as I've been staying on Sunday nights, especially. And I've got to start working on my schedule. So spreading this out a little bit better seems to make more sense, at least for me. And we're going to try this and see how it goes. And thank you, everybody, for being on board and supporting that. So I will, again, say to support independent media because we need it more than ever. And we will see you next Tuesday night at 10 p.m. Eastern. Tomorrow night, 9 p.m., check out INN News with Reef and Colin. And we'll see you again real soon. Love you all, fam. No! Oh, we just fucking lost the stream.
I guess this isn't such an awful place. Is that what you want me to say? You prove it's possible to sleep for days, and I still think you're right here awake. The cost of living isn't much to make, but God, it's so